Did you know that Ikora Ray gives out quest lines that rewards 9 free exotic armor pieces? During the Spark of Hope questline, Commanders of Allah asks you to speak to Ikora at the tower where she will give 3 exotic armor pieces per class, available for you to pick up once you've unlocked all 3 light subclasses. This is going to be the start of a new video series called Beginner Builds. I'm your host, Caveman PRDR, and let's dive right into it. But before we do, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, as both help out me tremendously as I make content for you guys. Thank you. Let's get on with the video. Hey guys, welcome to another Beginner Builds video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 6th Coyote Hunter Armor chest piece that gets the perk Double Dodge, which is gain a second dodge charge, which is the class ability for your hunter. Upon completing the A Guardian Rises quest line, you're able to do more of the quest line and enter the Spark of Hope mission. Once you go through the Spark of Hope mission, Commanders of All asks you to talk to Ikora, and when you talk to Ikora, she will give you quest lines to unlock your other light subclasses for your class. And whenever you finish those, you have the opportunity to, for Hunter specifically, you can unlock Arc and Void. The quest line to unlock the 6th Coyote when you talk to her is going to be through the Taming the Storm quest line. You unlock the ability to get the 6th Coyote on step 3, completing the Lost Sector Exodus Garden 2A in the Cosmodrome, and you loot the Lost Sector chest to get a drop of this whenever you finish that Lost Sector. I will say right now, this weekend, if you have the materials, you will also want to consider getting the 6th Coyote from Zur. So what you will do is you will go to the tower and you're going to want to go to the hangar area. This probably goes away on like Monday or Tuesday at reset. So you're going to want to go pick this up. This is the one that he has available to sell. 30 stats and mobility. I would highly recommend picking up this roll. This roll was, I believe it's a 71 or 70 overall. 70 overall. Very hard to come across exotics that have 70 stat split, especially one that's so favorable on a class like this one is. So you just go over to Zur in the tower, talk to him. If you have the materials, pick this up. It is 23 legendary shards. If you've got 23 legendary shards, pick this up. Today we're going to be taking a look at using it in PvE specifically. I think this exotic is pretty okay for ad clear. Pretty good for, I would say, at level content or content that's below. This isn't something I would necessarily, I wouldn't take it into a higher level nightfall. Or with that being said, let's go over the build. Specifically, we'll start with the aspects of fragments and abilities. You're going to want to use Gambler's Dodge for this. Dodging recharges your melee ability. Jump doesn't really matter which one to use. I personally just like using triple jump. You're going to want to use combination blow. Defeating targets with this ability also fully refills your class ability energy and restores a small amount of health. That's going to be really important for part of the survivability of the build. Grenade doesn't necessarily matter. I personally prefer pulse grenade, but you use which one you want. That's your choice. The two aspects I think are pretty important to choose. I would pick flow state. Defeating a jolted target makes you amplified. Where you're amplified, your dodge recharges more quickly. You're more resilient while dodging, and your reload speed is greatly increased. And then picking lethal current. After dodging, your next melee attack has increased lunge range, jolts the target, and creates a damaging aftershock. Damaging any jolted target with a melee attack also blinds them. So you're going to be applying jolt and blind to targets, which automatically counters jolt counters overload champions, and blind counters unstoppable champions. And then for the fragments, you're going to be using Spark of Recharge while critically wounded. Your melee and grenade energy regenerate more quickly. Spark of Feedback, taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. This helps with the damage with combination blow. at times whenever you get meleeed. You're going to be doing a lot of meleeing with this build, so that's just something good to have. Spark of Resistance is also something good to have. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. You're going to be in the middle of adds, meleeing a lot. Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. This will be helping with your ability regen for things like, say, whenever you use your grenade, because you're going to be constantly looping your refill on your class ability whenever you use your combination blow. You're going to be getting class ability energy back, and then you're going to use your class ability to fully refund your melee. So you're going to be playing with this cycle of Gambler's Dodge and Combination Blow, and then you're going to be getting extra benefits from using Flow State and Lethal Current off of these. Dealer's Choice on the Super, I'm personally preferring to use a Gathering Storm for PvE, so we'll go into a little bit more into the stats breakdown. I want to have fairly high or moderately high mobility, so that way you can have better cooldown on your class ability whenever you do run out of it, which gets boosts anyway from your flow state. Also recharges your class ability. I don't invest all the way up into tier 10. I go somewhere moderately high. You want tier 10 on resilience because you're going to be in the middle of enemies constantly dodge rolling and meleeing, so you're going to want that 30% damage reduction from tier 10 Resil if you can get it. Recovery, you want to have a moderate one. You're going to get health back on enemies you defeat with Combination Blow. Defeating targets with this ability also fully refills your class ability energy and restores a small amount of health. You're going to be getting health back from that, so I'm using a little bit lower recovery because I know I'm going to get benefits from the healing from the build and the Arc Strider aspect, as well as on the leg piece where we're going to use recuperation, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I'm going to use moderately high discipline. Like to have a high cooldown on that grenade. We're also going to be getting the ionic traces that are going to help with the ability regen for it. We're going to have a medium to moderate intellect stat. You could go up higher on this just to have your super come up more often. We're also going to have something inside of the armor perks that we're going to use that helps with this and the regen for it, and the melee regen for the strength as well. I'm going tier 5 for this. You don't necessarily have to build high at all for this because the ability cooldown is so low. Combination Blow, you don't have to build high into this. You can just build moderate or low into this and still get it back pretty quickly. But also because you're using Gambler's Dodge, you're pretty much going to be able to have this up at a lot of the time anyway, especially in lower level content. So that's the stat breakdown. Let's go into the armor perks. We're going to be using, one of the most important things we're going to be using is hands-on. You gain bonus super energy on melee kills, and you have some options for your other armor slots. For solo play, probably recommend the Siphon mod, maybe a heavy ammo finder even, so that way you can get, probably more so a heavy ammo finder, so that way you get a better chance to drop heavy weapon ammo on a kill. And if you're playing with other people, you could use heavy ammo scout, where you can also get heavy ammo for your allies if you're playing with other people. I don't necessarily like this build for other people, or for if you're playing with other people. This is something you can do. You can also do dynamo. Since you're dodge rolling near enemies a lot, you could get your super faster back that way. This is probably going to be the way to go, which is using hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills with dynamo, reducing super energy cooldown when using your class ability near targets. You're going to be dodge rolling and punching near targets all the time. This is probably going to be the way to go. For the gauntlets, I personally recommend, I like using fastball. That's up to you. I just like the faster throw animation or further throw animation. That's just my personal agenda on that. You don't have to, but I like it. Heavy-handed is something you're going to want because you're going to generate orbs of power whenever you have melee final blows. You're going to be using your melee a lot to make orbs, so I would recommend using heavy-handed. I also like impact induction. Causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown, so that way you're feeding back into your moderate cooldown reduction for your grenade. For the chest piece, I personally like. I want to leave some slots open to be able to use a resistance mod of your choice. At the current second in time, I have charged up on here. You don't necessarily have to. I've got this up for a reason, an increased maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by one. So I'm going to be building up armor charges whenever I pick up an orb of power, and this increases the number of stacks I can get. Whenever I'm picking those up, and I'm going to be picking those up often because I'm going to be meleeing a lot, getting melee final blows. When I pick up an orb of power, I'm going over to the leg armors, and I'm going to be getting the following benefits when I pick up these. Recuperation replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. That's going to be the second part that I talked about earlier, how you're going to build a little bit back more into your healing. So recuperation is going to be a way to go. I like Orb of Restoration. Gets a small amount of energy to your ability with the least energy. So you're going to be cycling through abilities a lot that are going to be out, but they'll come back. I think this mainly just really helps with the grenade regen, as well as innervation, which is going to go straight to your grenade cooldown every time you pick up your orb of power. So that way you can spam more grenades more often. And then the class ability, I really like using Bomber. You can get more grenade cooldown reduction every time you use your class ability. I also like Reaper, so that way whenever you use your class ability on your next weapon final blow, you can spawn an orb of power again, and we're going to be using these armor charges for special finisher. You're going to be doing a lot of meleeing, and every now and then you're going to have enemies that are going to be able to be finished, and you can just use the finisher on the enemy and consume the armor charges to get a special ammo brick to spawn for your special ammo weapon. What weapons are you using? I used to run this with double special on a different exotic. I used to run like Arbalist and then Xenoclast with tractor cannon. Ammo brick glitch being finally resolved. Heavy ammo doesn't spawn that much anymore. So TLDR, I recommend using a primary now instead of just double special. So I'm just going with something that has a little bit of range right here with Randy's throwing knife. If there's an enemy that's further out, it's like, okay, good luck hitting them with a shotgun. So I just kind of have Randy's throwing knife right here. But it's dealer's choice on the primary for the kinetic slot or energy slot, really. Mainly, I just prefer having a 1-2 punch shotgun in one of these slots, and then possibly using tractor cannon to debuff a larger target. You could even just outright skip this and lower level content and go straight to a power weapon, like something that does damage to bosses, like a explosive light grenade launcher, or bait and switch grenade launcher, explosive light or bait and switch rocket launcher, something of that nature. So that is the build breakdown. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.